Michelle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited because we get to talk about my favorite royal thing.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you here to talk about Princess Beatrice's surprise wedding, of course, to Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi. As a reminder, the couple had originally planned to be married back on May 29th at St. James's Palace in London, but of course it had to be postponed due to the pandemic. Now, we understand the wedding took place last Friday at 11 a.m. at the Royal Chapel of All Saints at Royal Lodge in Windsor, a short drive from Windsor Castle. So first off, Michelle, why now? Why was last Friday chosen to be the big day? And why was it kept a secret?
Yes, so there is nothing like a royal wedding, but this was a royal wedding like no other. For starters, as you said, they pulled off a pretty major surprise. I think that might be a royal first, that no one knew about this wedding. The public did not know about this wedding ahead of time, only a very small handful of close family. And really the timing was driven by Beatrice's grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, Her Majesty. She is 94. Obviously, her health is kind of, the key priority with any event the family is scheduling right now, and this wedding was no exception. And there were a couple of factors that went into the timing in terms of the Queen's health and her availability. So first off is the fact that up until July 4th, in the UK, weddings were simply banned, period. Big gatherings like this were banned. And second of all, the Queen is getting ready to make her annual pilgrimage to Balmoral in Scotland, her summer home. So they wanted to be able to, have the Queen, she's the guest of honor, in attendance, do it in a way that was within government guidelines, and also, make sure that everyone was as safe as possible. They did not require COVID testing, but they did make sure that guests were socially distancing ahead of time. And of course, as you see in the photos, socially distancing at the wedding itself. The portrait released where you see Prince Philip and who's 99, and Queen Elizabeth standing the kind of requisite 6 feet apart from the bride and groom. It kind of tells you a lot about what the ceremony and the wedding itself was like.
So what can you tell us about the venue itself? As I mentioned, the Royal Chapel of All Saints at Royal Lodge in Windsor. Why was the ceremony held there?
So Royal Lodge is the home of the York family, and that, of course, is Beatrice's father, Prince Andrew, her mom, Sarah Ferguson, her sister, Princess Eugenie. They grew up at Royal Lodge. It's still where friendly exes Andrew and Sarah live. And the chapel, which is a lesser known royal chapel, is on the grounds, and all of this is in Great Windsor Park, which is right, a stone's throw away from where Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip have been sheltering in place at Windsor Castle.
All makes sense. Now we have to talk about the dress. I thought Beatrice's dress was gorgeous. What can you tell us about it?
Oh my gosh, it was such a fairy tale dress. And the best part is that it had so much nostalgic meaning and so many callbacks to Queen Elizabeth. So it is a peau de soie vintage dress, borrowed, it's something borrowed from Queen Elizabeth, and it was designed by Norman Hartnell, the same designer who made Queen Elizabeth's World War II era wedding dress, the dress that Elizabeth wore to marry Prince Philip back in 1947. So same designer, you saw all that exquisite embroidery and detailing. It has a taffeta trim, and it was remodeled and refitted by the Queen's present day trusted dresser, Angela Kelly, and dressmaker, Stuart Parvin. So I thought the fit was just absolutely exquisite.
It was, and the new sleeves. It didn't have sleeves
Yes.
before, did it?
Yes, no, the new sleeves, I mean, everything, the fitted bodice, it was both like, it felt really fresh and modern and dreamy and romantic, but again, having all of that significance and historic meaning behind it.
Stunning. And the tiara.
Oh, when we found out that she'd pulled off this secret wedding. The editors and I were saying, please let her have worn a tiara because we weren't sure if maybe, you know, things are pared down now, obviously, and the wedding itself was pared down, and we were going back and forth. Do you think she will? Do you think she won't? So I was so happy that she did. And this one again had so much meaning. It was on loan from Queen Elizabeth. Again, it's known as the Queen Mary Diamond Fringe Tiara. It's one of Queen Elizabeth's only tiaras that's exclusively diamond. And so we spoke to an expert, a tiara expert, Leslie Field, who told us that it was probably chosen because it so beautifully matched the dress. But we have another source who told us that this tiara, which was originally Queen Mary's and uses a diamond from Queen Victoria, so all these incredible, you know, callbacks to previous generations, that it is of huge sentimental value to Queen Elizabeth. And because she is so close with Beatrice, her granddaughter, she had reserved it just for her, and that it represents, of all the loans Queen Elizabeth has made, we know she loaned Meghan Markle a tiara, and she loaned her Beatrice's sister Eugenie, Kate. I mean, every royal bride's tiara is on loan from the Queen, essentially. But the fact that she saved this one for Beatrice really had a lot of, shows how close they are as a grandmother and granddaughter.
And this was also the one that Queen Elizabeth wore at her wedding.
Exactly. How could I forget that? Yes. This is the one she wore. So not only was the dress designed by Queen Elizabeth's wedding dress designer, but the tiara was worn by Queen Elizabeth at her wedding. And it was also worn by Queen Elizabeth's only daughter, Princess Anne, at her wedding.
So much history there in the outfit. Wow. So what do we know about the ceremony itself? Any idea who was in attendance?
Yes, so the ceremony was short and sweet. Princess Beatrice was walked down the aisle by her father, Prince Andrew, and both mothers, the mother of the bride, Sarah Ferguson, and Eduardo's mother, Kelly Williams Ellis, they both did a reading at the ceremony. So there was, the couple had selected their favorite Shakespearean sonnet, and a poem by E.E. Cummings was read. Because of UK guidelines, no singing is allowed. No hymns were permitted to be sung to reduce transmission of, you know, of the virus. So instead they had music playing, and they did read a Bible passage. So it had a lot of the hallmarks of a traditional wedding, but with some allowances for the pandemic.
And Eduardo's son was there. He had a pretty big role, didn't he?
That's right. So Eduardo has a son from a previous relationship, and Beatrice, you know, a source has told us that she's very close with him. His name is Wolfie, and that, you know, she takes the role of stepmother very seriously. So Wolfie was indeed the page boy and best man, and Beatrice's sister Eugenie was the matron of honor.
We know who was there. Who wasn't there? I'm guessing Harry and Meghan were unable to make the trip. Any other noteworthy absences? Yeah,
so although Beatrice is first cousins with both Prince Harry and Prince William, of course. As you say, Harry and Meghan were not able to travel. They're, of course, based in the United States now. William and Kate did not attend either. It was really limited to, nor did you know, William's father, Prince Charles, Camilla. It was limited to a very small group of just 20 close family members.
Oh, it's interesting. We already knew that Beatrice and Edo wanted a more private wedding than past royal nuptials. And the whole idea of a secret wedding, definitely pretty romantic. So is it fair to say that in some ways things worked out for the best?
I think so. We have a source who told us that exactly that first of all, you know, although this was a very changed plan from their original wedding day plans, which were to have taken place with they were going to celebrate in the Queen's Gardens at Buckingham Palace afterward. And it would have certainly been, I think it's safe to say, a larger affair. It was not, however, ever going to be televised like her sister Eugenie's wedding. There was never going to be a horse-drawn carriage like Eugenie and Meghan and Kate had. So sources have pointed that out to us, that this, although it was scaled down, it wasn't a dramatic overhaul from what Beatrice wanted in the beginning. She's known as the more reserved, quieter sister of the two. So several sources told us, you know, that this wedding really suited her style. And the fact is, she is having to deal with her father's ongoing scandal in regard to his association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, and everyone in the family was aware of, you know, not wanting to detract from Beatrice's special day by, you know, the scandal at all overshadowing that. So I think this smaller, more intimate ceremony really allowed for the focus to be on the newlyweds.
Smart move. Okay, Michelle, finally, do we know if they'll be taking a honeymoon?
Yes, we have been told that the honeymoon is going to be coming up pretty soon. They did celebrate right after the ceremony. There was a celebration, again, in this great Windsor Park area, right on the grounds of Royal Lodge, where Beatrice grew up. And they provided glamping pods for guests to spend the night outside the celebration. So that kind of got the party started, and the honeymoon, we're told, won't be far off.
I love that. That's a good idea. Glamping pods.
I love it too.
All right, Michelle, thank you so much for breaking all this down with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Sharon.